Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's December 29th, 2018. I'm out in the south shop. The north shop is right behind me. And what I've been doing, yesterday what I did do is I got the insulation up between all of the 2x6s and somewhat between the gambrel and gable trusses and wall structures there. And the goal is ultimately to have 4.5 inches to 5.5 inches of polyisocyanurate in between all the studs. And then on this wall, we'll have 1.5 inches of polyisocyanurate completely covering the wall on this side and as well on the other side. That gives us complete thermal breaking of any of the thermal bridges, therefore we won't have any heat transfer between those two locations. So I got those areas set up there, and then I got some of the insulation tacked up to about 8 foot tall here. And so I'm going to start installing some of the 2x3 horizontal nailers first, and then there'll be vertical 2x3 nailers as well, similar to the way that one would potentially insulate a concrete wall or a cement block basement wall in order to do that. By having both horizontal 2x3s and vertical 2x3s, it gives me adequate nailing surfaces to install the wall. In this case, we're using 5/8 inch plywood. But it also allows me to have areas where I can use as wire chases. So the electrical wiring, security, surveillance, all of those wires can go make minimal penetrations through the wall, and receptacles and outlets don't have to violate the integrity of the insulation either. And that'll become more apparent as I move through this. Now this insulation is going to have to extend all the way up. I removed the electrical outlets that were here on the wall yesterday, and today I'm going to try and get some of the 2x3s up and I'm going to be using 5-inch Torx screws, wood screws. So that'll penetrate the 1.5 inch thickness of the 2x3, the 1.5 inch thickness of the insulation, and then make a good purchase into the studs, which are 2x6s behind this insulation. I went ahead yesterday when I installed these, marked out where the studs actually are with a marker, so it'll be easy enough for me to get that started as well. Ultimately, in a future video, I'll show you how I'm planning on making the wire chase accessible. One of the things I've learned over the years is that the wiring needs of a workshop or educational facility or even your home may change over time. Right now there's a big push towards Wi-Fi, going lots of wireless. I'm a big fan of having things directly wired if at all possible. And therefore, I want to have this expandable both here as well as it is in the house. So here we go. So I thought I'd show somewhat of a detail of how I'm accomplishing reducing thermal bridging. That's where the heat transfers between two areas through more conductive materials such as studs and all. Now there's going to be still one more layer of insulation, well actually 2 layers in here, one more on the outside of the foil-faced polyisocyanurate. So I've already got 2 layers, 1.5 inches and a 2-inch layer there. I'll be putting one more 1.5 inch between the studs, but then I still have bridging where the heat can be conducted through those studs if I were just to put sheathing on here. Even though this is a workshop area, I want to control the environments as best as possible. So there'll be an additional 1.5 inches of polyisocyanurate completely covering this whole face, and I'll show that in a future video. However, in these areas where we're connecting two different roof structures. I'm going to turn the camera around and see if I can show you this. Okay, on the other side of these 2x6s here that are put together to support the laminated beam way up above up here. Try to get this to focus in. So everything to the left of the ladder is pretty much outside of the building, outside of the shop that I'm insulating around right now. So even this foil face insulation right in front of us here is outside of the workshop, because that area where those 2x6s are is where the workshop wall, the exterior wall is. You can go right around here and you see it's down there. So what I'm doing here is totally isolating these thermal bridges. So the ladder right now is up against one of the trusses. Sorry, it's hard to see it here. And there'll be, I'm insulating on the outside of that building in front of us, trying to get 360 degrees around coverage around each woody surface that acts as a thermal bridge. Well, it's been a couple of days since I started this video. It's December 31st, almost 5 p.m. And I've gotten as far as I'm going to get for this video. I've gotten the insulation up to about 14 feet 4 inches to the base of the trusses that are over the south workshop. And I got the insulation up. I've got the horizontal 2x3s up that will provide space, airspace, and it will provide a horizontal track for the wiring that's going to be installed. We still have vertical 2x3s that are going to be installed on the surface of the horizontal 2x3s that are there. I'll make another video on that. I got the a 36-inch door cut out going to the second floor of the first building, and I pulled some of the wire supports there. I originally had the wiring going down between, in the wall of the 2x6s and all, and I'm modifying that. I'm going to put everything more easily accessed, so I'm making as few penetrations through the insulation as possible. Half of the wall over there on the lower half has already been layered with 3 layers of 1.5-inch polyisocyanurate. Over here, the lower half and the upper half of the entire second floor area there, I still need to cut the polyisocyanurate, get the insulation in between all the studs there. And then the same thing will happen as I did on this surface on the other side. So there'll be another thermal barrier, another full sheets of insulation going up on the inner surface. This is the outer surface. And then the 2x3s is done here, and then the vertical ones. And I'll make videos showing the progress as well. These are mounting structures. The vertical ones will be mounting supports for the plywood, and it offers both vertical wiring access and horizontal wiring access, so that any modifications that need to be done in 10, 20 years from now, it would be relatively easy to just chase the wires through the walls as things get updated as time goes on or as the needs change. So that's it for this video. If you found this video of value, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends. Please hit that bell icon if you want to be notified when we post more videos. I'll try and catch up with comments and questions as soon as I get the chance. I'm just a little bit under the weather and behind the times. But I hope you folks have a wonderful, happy new year. Best wishes for everyone to have a very successful and healthy 2019. Thanks so much, folks, and have a great day. Bye-bye now.